My name is Eliza Nicholson. I'm the Director of Recruitment and Admissions here at Trent University. And I'm very excited to be here to talk to you about everything you need to know about applying to Trent University, about receiving an offer and accepting that offer, and about your next steps that come after that. I am joined today by a couple of my colleagues who will be in the monitoring the Q&A. So if you have any questions at all throughout this live stream, feel free to put those questions in the Q&A. Connor Koch is our manager of admissions. He will be answering questions. Robert Adams is a recent graduate from the School of the Environment at Trent, and he's one of our enrollment advisors. So he's here to answer any questions that you have about student life on campus, varsity, residence, any of those questions that you have. The way that the live stream will work is that I am going to be running through a presentation. The presentation will last maybe 15 or 20 minutes. During that time, Robert and Connor will be answering some specific questions in the Q&A. And any of the common questions, they're going to be saving those until following the presentation. And then I'm going to answer those live because those will be questions that really apply to the wider audience. And I know that those of you joining are all in different stages of your journey here. Some of you may have applied, some of you may not have yet, some of you may have already accepted an offer. And just rest assured that the content that I will be delivering will apply to everyone, regardless of what stage you are at in the application process. So it looks like most people are probably here at this point. This is recorded, so folks can watch this again afterwards. But I'm going to start moving through the presentation. So to start with, I am going to cover applying to Trent University. There are different ways that students can apply. The main way and the way that all current high school students apply is through the Ontario University Application Centre. So many of you will be familiar with this site. You may have already started the application. So I'm just going to go through some of those steps. So you will see the URL at the top, ouac.on.ca. And this is the site that you're going to go to start that application. So the first thing that you will do if you have not already created an account is to create that account. So you will just click on the Create My Account button, and you will be asked for some general information. The next time you come to OUAC to monitor applications, you'll use the login section. So once you click on that to create that account, it is going to ask you for some basic information. So you're going to be giving your name and your date of birth. And then you're going to click next, and you will then be able to choose from a variety of applications. So undergraduate is the section that you're going to choose if you are applying to an undergraduate degree at Trent, and that's what the focus of this live stream is. So we do have programs like Law and Arts and Medical Pathways. Those are all undergraduate programs. So you're going to find those under that first option. So you will choose undergraduate. And then you're going to be taken to your OUAC hub. So this is going to be the hub that you're going to log into to keep track of your applications. If you ever need to make changes to your application, if you need to upload anything or review anything, this is where you're going to come. Once you click on the Start Application, you're going to see this sidebar here that I have a photo of. And so you've already started the personal details because you've entered your name and your date of birth. So you've started on that. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to be working through each of these levels of the application. So you're going to be adding a little bit more to the personal address information. For background, you're going to be mentioning any institutions that you have attended. Then you're going to get into My Choices. This is where you're actually choosing your program choices. And so for the base fee, you do get 3 choices. All 3 can be at one institution, or you can make one program choice at 3 institutions. You can choose to pay for additional applications as well. So if you do want to make more than 3 choices, you can do so. And there is a fee of roughly $50 per additional choice. If you're an Ontario high school student, in most cases, there's no additional supporting documents that you need to submit. But there is an opportunity to do that, and then you would review and make the payment. So this is just a snapshot. Once you have reviewed and made the payment, that is the point where your application will come to the institutions that you've applied to. But before that, what I want to do is just dive into this point number 3, which is my choices. So you will choose the institution you want to apply for. So today you're here at Trent, you're learning about our programs, and so you would choose Trent, and we do have 2 campuses, one in Peterborough and one in Oshawa, or Durham GTA campus. Below is just a quick snapshot of one section of the list. So I just wanted to let you know that at the top of the page, you are going to be able to toggle between the 2 campuses. And then we do have our programs listed in sections. So first you'll see everything for Peterborough and then everything for Durham. You can jump right to the Durham list at the top of the page. This is just a snapshot of our business section. So it is going to give you a little bit of information about how you can do business at Trent. And then you will see various programs that you can apply to apply to. So for Business BBA, this is a program where we have multiple specializations that you can take. So if there are specializations, you'll see those listed in a bullet format right underneath the degree. And so once you click on business, you're going to be able to find out more, and you're able to choose one of those specializations if you're interested in choosing one. So that's just one snapshot of how the application list looks for our programs at Trent. So moving on, so once you have made your choices, you've reviewed, you've submitted your payment, within a day or 2, we are going to receive that information from the Ontario University Application Centre. We're going to send you an email letting you know your Trent ID. It's important that you keep that ID handy throughout the whole process. That becomes your Trent student number when you end up coming here in the fall. So that first acknowledgement email that you receive, it's going to tell you to activate your My Trent portal. And this is where you're going to be able to track everything related to the Trent application. So it's going to invite you to visit trentu.ca/mytrent. Your first time visiting that site, you're going to click on Activate Your Account. It's going to ask you for 2 things. One is your Trent ID. That is found in that email. And the second is the email address that you listed on your OUAC application to Trent. Once you have that information, it's going to provide you with a username and a password, and you can set that password to anything you would like it to be. And then moving forward, anytime that you visit trentu.ca/mytrent, you're just going to go to the login and you're going to use that username and password. Once you're in the portal, it's going to look similar to this at the top. So you're going to have a series of tabs at the top. You're going to be able to see some news, any upcoming events, and any notifications that we send you. As a new applicant, the tab that you're looking for is academics. So if you click on the academics tab, you're going to be able to see a variety of icons that may or may not apply to you. So a lot of students won't have anything in addition that they have to upload, but there will be some students that will have some additional forms that they choose to submit. And I'll go through what some of those might be. In the upper left-hand corner, you're actually going to see a list of the programs you've applied to at Trent. And if you do receive an offer, that will show right in this top left-hand corner of your My Trent portal. You will also receive email communication from us, possibly a phone call or a text as well to congratulate you, but you will be able to come in here and monitor this right on your My Trent portal. Okay, so moving on, once you're in that My Trent portal, and as I mentioned under the academics tab, you're going to see a few icons related to applicants. I'm just going to highlight a few that may apply to you. So many of you here today are in an Ontario high school, but we may have some out-of-province students who are studying here in Canada in another province. In that case, your high school grades are not entered into OUAC as they are for Ontario high school students. So in Ontario, the guidance counselors are entering that information and we have access to it. It's not the case outside of Ontario. So the Canadian high school self-reported grades is meant for students studying in a province other than Ontario. Here in Canada, you can actually self-report your grade 11 and 12 grades so that we can use those to make an early conditional offer of admission. We would still need that official high school transcript to follow later, but that just allows you to quickly have your application reviewed by admissions. Intention to upgrade is another form that will apply to some of you. Couple of reasons you may want to use this. One, maybe you're taking a course that's needed as a prerequisite. Let's say you've applied to biomedical science at Trent and we require grade 12 physics. Maybe your high school is a smaller school, you're not offering physics, and maybe you're taking that course through the Independent Learning Center or a different high school. You can fill out that intention to upgrade form on your portal by just choosing that icon, letting us know what course you're taking, where you're taking it, and when you expect to complete it. That way we can still consider you for a conditional offer of admission. A second reason why you might want to use this form is if you have to upgrade over the summer. So soon we're going to start talking about offers. And if you do receive a conditional offer, and let's say you've applied to criminology at Trent and you have to maintain a 75% average, if come June your average has slipped to a 73%, you will have that opportunity to take a course in the summer to be able to bring your average up to that requirement. And so if you know that's the case, come June, you may want to submit the intention to upgrade to let us know that you're taking a summer school course and that you expect to complete that, let's say in August. One more example of a form is extenuating circumstances. So if you are a student who maybe really excelled in grade 11, you had a high average, something happened in first semester of grade 12, your grades have slipped. If there's anything that you do want to explain to the admissions committee, you can use that extenuating circumstance form to do so. And that's just something that comes to the admissions office for us to take into consideration. All right, so let's dive into some of the admissions timelines. So at this point, you've applied or you're planning to apply, and then what happens next? So as I mentioned, with Ontario high school students, we get your grades pretty quickly. Your school is constantly going in and upgrading your marks. So we can see all grade 11 and grade 12 courses, whether they've been completed or in progress, and we get grades as soon as your guidance counselor enters those. For students not in an Ontario high school, as soon as we are getting your in-progress grades or your college university transcript, if you're a transfer student, we automatically assess those transcripts as they arrive. So we are doing rolling offers for almost all of our undergraduate programs. And that means that offers have started and that we are continuing to look at new applications and new grades that come in every week. So it is, if you have applied recently and you have not yet heard from us, if we soon do see your grades and we see that you are tracking to meet requirements for that program, then you can soon expect to hear from us. If not, so let's say currently your average is below the requirement that we are looking for a program, then we could just defer that decision. So we're not going to say no to an application if we see your studies are in progress. If you're not meeting that requirement at the time that we're reviewing your file, we're simply going to defer that decision until we receive more grades. So you're not going to hear from us that you have not been admitted. We're just going to defer that until we have more grades. Accepting an offer. So some of the general timelines, like for applying, as most of you have heard, January 15th is that application deadline that we aim for. After the 15th, universities in Ontario can start to close admission to certain programs. So after the 15th, you would hear from us if there are still programs that are open for programs, but there could be some of those CAP competitive programs that start to close after the 15th. The accept deadline is June 2nd, so there's lots of time to make that decision, but soon in this presentation, we're going to get into how you will accept your offer if you choose to do so. And finally, admission conditions. So anytime that an offer is made and your studies are in progress, there are some admission conditions that have to be met in order for you to be able to come into that program. And those are the minimum requirements for the program. So those will be outlined when you get your offer of admission email. You'll be able to see what those conditions are. Those will be listed. We do for Ontario high school students, we check these admission conditions in early to mid-July once we get those final grade 12 marks. At that point, we don't reach out to students if everything has been met. But in the case that an admission requirement has not been met, you will hear from us, and that's where you're given some next steps on using that intention to upgrade and doing some upgrading over the summer. Okay. So something we are very excited about at Trent is what we are investing in our students. So our scholarships have been increased at all levels. So we have prestigious scholarships. These are worth up to $30,000 over the 4 years. So the prestigious scholarships do require an application. That application is open currently. So on your My Trent portal, if you've already applied, you would be able to find that under the Finance tab. There is an application, and it is due February 28th. So I would encourage you, if you are a high achieving student, you've had lots of involvement in your school, maybe extracurricular activity, community involvement, civic engagement, fill out the prestigious scholarship because you will be considered for all of them with one application. Also, our renewable entrance scholarships, those have all been increased for domestic students. So I'm just going to go into that new scholarship grid. So if your average is a 95% or higher, as a domestic applicant, you would qualify for full tuition. So in first year, you're actually going to receive $6,118, which covers tuition. And then if you do renew your scholarship, you are then going to receive $4,000 for the next 3 years. So that particular scholarship is worth over $18,000. 80 to 84.9%, it's 1,500. Over 4 years, that's 6,000. 85 to 89.9 jumps to $2,000 every year, potential of 8,000. And 90 to 94.9 is $3,000 renewable for up to $12,000. So you're getting this amount for 4 years that you're studying here at Trent. So we are very excited about these scholarships. You don't have to apply to the renewable entrance scholarships. So these are based on your average. So when you do get an offer from Trent, we're going to tell you right away what you're tracking towards. So if your admission average is an 87.5, we are going to tell you that you're tracking towards that $8,000 entrance scholarship. In March, once we have your second semester midterm grades, your first semester final grades, we are then going to be looking at locking some of these scholarships in. So you will then hear from our scholarships department, and they'll let you know what amount you are locking in at. So we get a lot of frequently asked questions here in admissions, and I do just want to cover some of these. So we talked a little bit about that intention to upgrade form. So again, if you're taking anything outside of your regular day school, so maybe you're taking an online course, maybe it's a night school course, anything that you don't see listed on OUAC as being one of your courses, because you'll be able to see what your guidance counselors have actually input into OUAC. Anything that's not on our radar, you can complete that intention to upgrade form. So under the academics tab of your portal, you'll find that icon, very simple to complete. You're just going to enter the course code, the date you expect to complete it, and then we can use that in the admission decision. So we can take that into consideration, especially if it's a prerequisite course. A prerequisite is a course at the grade 12 level that is needed to get into a certain program. We also often hear from students, what happens if I have to repeat a course? So if you do repeat a course, then we are taking the higher of the 2 grades, and students are not penalized for repeating a course. Prerequisite courses in progress. So let's say you've applied to nursing, you know that biology, grade 12 biology is a prerequisite for nursing, and you're not taking that until next semester. You don't need to worry. We can see your in progress courses, so we will know that you're taking these prerequisites, and we're still able to assess for an early conditional offer. The final one, and this is a big one, alternative offers. So we do have programs at Trent, many of our programs that are they're competitive and they're cap programs. And so the minimum admission requirement that you might see stated can be higher based on the volume of applications that we receive. So if you're not in that competitive range by the spring, we will automatically assess you for an alternate offer of admission. And this is to a program that's very closely aligned with your initial program choice. So for instance, biomedical science, if you don't get into that program, we're automatically going to assess for an offer to our biology honors degree with a specialization in health sciences. And so we will let you know what you are eligible for. And so it may be that you receive that alternate offer. The important thing to keep in mind with an alternate offer is that it's a good path into your initial program of choice if you choose to still pursue that. So if you accept that biology health sciences program, you start in September, you will have an academic advisor who you can work with, help you to choose courses. And if your end goal is still to come into biomedical science, then at the sort of end of your first year, anytime as early as February, you can complete a form on your portal that's called Transfer In to Capped Programs. And you can choose biomedical science. And then come May, once we have your final Trent grades from your first year, we can assess you to just move into that program without losing any time. So that whole first year would then transfer into that new degree, and you would have an academic advisor who can help you to navigate that. So that is an option for almost every program. So an alternate offer can be seen as a pathway in, but sometimes we find that students really enjoy that program that we have given them and they choose to stay in that. So important to keep in mind that everyone will have access to an academic advisor, similar to a guidance counselor in high school. They're going to be able to sit down with you. They can chat about what your future goals are, what direction you want to go, what options you have here at Trent, and they can help you to build a degree that is unique to you. Okay, so we've talked a lot about Ontario high school students, out of province high school students. If you are a transfer student from a college or a university, you can apply on OUAC. If you're applying to multiple institutions, that's where you will apply. If you're only applying to Trent, you can visit trentu.ca/transfer and you will receive, you'll see a direct application there where you can choose to apply right to Trent. You would then have to submit your transcripts. We do get transcripts electronically if you use the OUAC application for any college university transcripts within Ontario. But if you use the direct application, it just means you have to send us those transcripts. And there is an icon on your MyTrent portal called Transcript Upload where you can do that yourself, uploading an unofficial transcript, and then you would order that official transcript through the college or university. Important to keep in mind that we do assess for transfer credits right at the time of offer. We may request course syllabi from you. We definitely have to wait until we have your final grades for that term before we can apply them. But if you send an in-progress transcript and you've completed 1 year already, you may see that that first 1 year of courses are already on your record at the time of offer. And then there is a transfer credit icon on your MyTrent portal where you can monitor those transfer credits that we're putting on. As I talked about with alternate offers and using an academic advisor, the same would apply for a college or university transfer student. So once you have accepted an offer and you see your transfer credits, you're going to want to book an advising appointment where you can sit down, look at your transfer credits, and then plan out your degree so that you know the timelines for degree completion. So some of you are at the stage where you have an offer and you're wanting to know how to accept your offer, when to accept your offer. You can accept the offer at any point. So if you have applied on the Ontario University Application Centre website, that's where you would accept an offer. So you would accept, you would follow the steps through. They would send you a confirmation email, and then within 2 days, we would send you an email to let you know that we have received your accept, welcoming you to Trent University, and we would give you all of your next steps. If you apply directly to Trent as a transfer student, you would email admissions@trentu.ca to accept your offer, and then the same thing would apply. We would then get a congratulatory email to you letting you know all of your next steps. All right, so we have lots of support happening, especially this time of year. We have an eager team of enrollment advisors. So these are recent Trent University graduates. They're eager to connect with you and to help support you through this stage of the application, looking at program options, asking any questions that you have about student life at Trent, residence. They are here to help. So if you visit trentu.ca/discover, you're going to see that we have lots of Zoom drop-ins taking place between now and the application deadline of January 15th. So if you visit this website, you can register for one of those Zoom drop-ins. One of our lovely enrollment advisors that you see here would be hosting that. They are able to just answer any questions that you have. You can also book a one-on-one appointment with our enrollment advisors. So if you visit the Discover page that's shown here, you'll be able to actually book right in their calendars at a time that's convenient for you. You will also be able to view other live streams that are happening. So we're here to support you through this stage of application to Trent. Also, it's important to come visit campus. So maybe you've already been here. We do offer campus tours 6 days a week, and we have a higher number of campus tours available right now, leading up until the application deadline. Visiting that Discover site, you'll be able to see all of those dates available for campus tours. But the open house event is a great way to really get a sense of what it's like to be on campus. So we're offering the open houses in March at both campuses. So Saturday, March 1st, we're going to be at the Durham GTA campus, and then Friday, March 14th at the Peterborough campus. At open house, you're going to be able to chat with current students, recent graduates, faculty, and students in all programs. You're going to be able to sit in on program information sessions, tour campus, get into the residence buildings because we have guaranteed residence here at Trent. So this allows you to get in and know what residence you're wanting to stay in, tour the new residence building at the Durham GTA campus, and just really get a sense for what it's like to be here on campus and to interact with faculty, students, and staff. So if you visit trentu.ca/open house, you'll be able to register now. But if you have applied to Trent, you will definitely be getting an invitation from us closer to the date. Also, we've talked about a lot of different admission processes today, and I do know that depending on what program you're applying to or where you're coming from, that you do have unique questions. So we are going to be answering some questions here live, and you can enter your personal questions there in the Q&A as well. But if there's anything very particular to you that you want answered, you can email us at admissions@trentu.ca, and we can get back to you with a quick answer to your questions. So that ends the presentation component of this live stream. So I'm just going to stop sharing at this point and just going to have a look at some of the Q&A questions to see what questions you have for me. And I think Robert's going to pop on here. Hello, Robert, just to ask me some of these questions.
Yeah, so first of all, a lot of great information. I'm sure most of the students, you answered a lot of their questions, but I saw a couple kind of questions coming up again and again. So one of them I kind of get a lot is, what happens if I choose the wrong campus? What happens if I go into the Ontario University Application Center and I choose, business at Peterborough, but I decided that I wanted to do business at Durham instead? So how would I go about changing?
It is a great question, and we do get that often in admissions as well. So when you're on the Ontario University Application Center program listing for Trent, it is important to keep in mind that at the very top of that list is a link to Peterborough and to the Durham GTA programs. So that's number one. We then list all of Peterborough and then all of Durham. So it does happen, like students are scrolling through the list, they're seeing all these really interesting programs, and before they know it, they may have scrolled down into one of the other campuses without knowing. So it does happen, but it's very easy to fix it. So the first step that you'll want to do is log in to your OUAC account. You'll want to drop or cancel the program choice for the campus that you're not wanting to attend. So you just find that program, you'll see an easy option to drop or to cancel that. And then you're just going to go back into choices and you're going to add a choice and just ensure that you are in the correct campus. If you visit trentu.ca/discover, you will be able to find what we call our program picker. So you'll be able to explore programs, and on the right-hand side, it actually will give you a 3-letter code. And that's the OUAC code that you can enter to quickly find that program on the application. So if you're not wanting to scroll through the whole list and you know that you're wanting biology and you go to our program picker and you see that the code is RBI, when you go to add that program choice at OUAC, you can just enter RBI and it's going to take you right to that biology program at Trent. So all of that to say that it's an easy change. You're going to drop the one you don't want. You're going to add a new one, ensuring that you're in that correct campus. And very important to know that admission requirements are the same for both campuses. So if you had an offer, you don't need to worry that dropping criminology at Peterborough and adding it at Durham is going to mean you won't get an offer. We will resend that offer to you. It's just going to take at least a few days for us to get that change from OUAC and to be able to send the offer back.
Yeah, it sounds scarier than it is. I know I get that question all the time. Maybe we could talk a little bit about kind of entrance scholarships. I know that's something a lot of students talk to me about, at least, is, some students are coming out of high school, but others are transferring or, are in different parts of Canada, right? And so how does this entrance scholarship, the new entrance scholarships, apply to them? Is it for all Canadian students? Is it only for high school students? Does it apply to transfer students?
So here at Trent, actually, our entrance scholarships are for everyone. So we do have a different grid for international applicants, but it works the same way. You don't have to apply to them. It's based off of your admission average that we calculate. We will let you know what you're tracking towards at the time of offer, and then we will let you know later on, once we receive final grades, what you're locked in for. But within Ontario, if we're talking about our domestic scholarship grid that I covered, with the 95% plus being full tuition, that's not only for high school students, that's for college and university transfer students. Also, we will see students who have been out of high school for a few years and they're applying, and sometimes they're applying as a mature student. But if they meet requirements based on those high school grades, that's what we're using as a basis of admission, and you still qualify for those entrance scholarships. If you're coming from college or university, we do need at least 1 year worth of studies to be able to come up with the admission average that qualifies you for an entrance scholarship. So case by case, we can look at transfer students who have only done 1 term. But in order to receive the entrance scholarship in that case, you would have to have an 80% or higher both in that 1 term, as well as the previous transcript, which typically is high school, for us to consider that. But yeah, you don't have to apply. In your offer email, we're going to let you know what you're tracking towards. If you have any questions about your admission average or about the level in the scholarship grid that you're at, you can email us at admissions@trentu.ca.
Great, good to know. Let's see, maybe we could talk a little bit about timelines for sending out offers. I know we've got a lot of those in the chat, and I think we've answered a couple of them. But maybe just going over if there's kind of a specific time we start sending them out, if there's differences between different programs in terms of when we start sending offers out. Just if one student sees, their friend's got an offer and maybe they haven't, what the difference between programs might be.
It is a great question. And as I mentioned, we're doing rolling offers for all of our programs, but certainly there are some more competitive capped programs that we start admitting at a higher average range, maybe than we do for other programs. And in that case, it may be that we have longer periods of time between our rounds. One example would be nursing. We have started with offers to our nursing program, but because it's a capped program and we can't exceed that cap, there are usually longer delays between the various rounds. So there will be another round of offers going out for nursing later this month, but it's not every week like it might be for chemistry or biology or business. Another one is some of the co-ops. So I know business co-ops are a very popular program choice. Those are more competitive CAP programs that do have a higher admission average cutoff. So there may be a bit longer of a delay, but important to know that we are still considering you if you have not heard from us. And again, just to reiterate, we're always going to consider for an alternate offer later in the spring if we find that you're not in that competitive average range. And that alternate offer in almost every case can lead later to the program of choice. So all of them except for like the business co-op is direct entry only, but programs like artificial intelligence co-op and conservation biology co-op, a lot of the humanities and social science co-ops, if you don't get an offer in first year, there is still a clear pathway for you to come into Trent and join the co-op for second year.
So I think that's something we get from students a lot of the times. Maybe not getting into something that they really wanted in the first year as in terms of co-op, but getting into something like business or biology as well, and again having that pathway is massive.
Yeah, and that's where academic advisors are key. So they will be able to sit down with you. You can have an appointment with one of them and they can talk to you about all of your options because there are so many program options. And we're also known for joint majors. So we have a lot of students that say, I'm really interested in the sciences, but I have always loved business courses. Well, you can combine business and one of the sciences for a joint major. And our academic advisors are there to show you how you can do that.
Sure, yeah, I found academic advisors really, really helpful when I was doing my undergrad. I found that maybe I was in there a little more than they wanted me to, but they were always super patient in terms of getting me through what I had to take.
There are so many supports here at Trent, and it's important to know, like my advice would be to use them. I was a transfer student to Trent, so I did attend an institution in first year. I transferred to Trent into business from years 2 to 4. And looking back, I think one piece of advice I'd give myself is to use those supports a little bit more. Like go see your academic advisor. There's so many options here and ways to really personalize your degree. Adding a specialization or adding an option, like there are lots of opportunities for our students to make their degree unique to them. And so my advice would be to use these services that are available.
Yeah, and the fact that they're offered through multiple colleges, it's not like you have to go to one that you're affiliated with. There's a whole bunch of different academic advisors and a whole bunch of different supports and services that are offered no matter what college you're at or no matter which affiliation you're with.
Absolutely.
Let's see, I guess we had a couple students who were talking about how they send over their transcripts, right? So maybe you're a high school student and you're wondering when a high school is going to send transcripts over to be able to, starting to look at their offers. Is there anything that students have to do on their end to send it over, or is it just something that's done through the OUAC and the OUAC connects with institutions for high schools?
Another great question. So if you're an Ontario high school student who's currently in courses, you don't have to submit anything for your grades. So when you apply on OUAC, the information that you enter will be connected to a school record that your guidance counselor has entered. So that will be matched up and we'll be able to see all of your courses with in progress and final grades as they come in. We do get data from the application center every day of the week. So Monday to Friday, we're getting refreshed grade information, application information. So nothing you need to do there. If you're not an Ontario high school student, then we do need to actually have transcripts submitted. If you are a out of province student who's in college or university, or you're from Ontario, from a college or university, and you are applying through OUAC, you will be able to order your transcripts there. So if you are a current college student and you've applied through UAC, you can choose to have that transcript sent. My advice would be to have it sent immediately if you have some grades already showing. So as soon as you have at least one term, have that transcript sent because we can assess for an early conditional offer. You'll later have to submit the final and you can order that again through UAC, but it just allows you to hear from us sooner. If you're applying directly to Trent, so you're using our internal application form on the transfer website, that's the case where you can't order transcripts through UAC because you didn't apply there. But after you've applied to Trent on the Direct app, we are going to give you instructions to activate that My Trent portal that we talked about being so important. There is a transcript upload icon. So you're going to click on academics and you're going to see a high school transcript upload and you're going to see a post-secondary transcript upload. So you can use those to upload documents. If you have a copy of the transcript in full, you can upload that. If you only have screenshots from your unofficial transcript that you see on your portal at your current college or university, you can also upload those. So our admissions team will be able to look at that. If we need something further from you, you will receive an email. And on your My Trent portal, you're going to have an icon that's called Required Documents. That's where you can track what we've received from you, and you'll see the date we received it and what we're still waiting for. So it will be clear to you what admissions needs to make that decision.
Maybe another question that I feel like I get a lot for, and maybe is relevant to a lot of students who are, in grade 12 and thinking about whether they want to go directly into university or, maybe take a year as well. How do we assess students that are taking a gap year? How are they transfer? Is it that they're looked at as high school students or transfer students now, or out of school students? How do we look at students who've taken that gap year?
Mhm. Yeah, and this is a great question, and it's very common. We know a lot of students this is a big decision, and a lot of students aren't quite sure what they're wanting to do. So if you are in grade 12 and you're not sure and you may be taking a gap year, you can still apply right now. You can only apply for 2025. So you can't apply for 2026 at this point, but you can defer an offer. So you can apply. If you do receive an offer, you're going to accept that by the accept deadline in June. And then we do have a deferral request form on the My Trent portal where you can request to defer for up to a year. So we do have 3 intakes here at Trent. We have January, May, and September for undergraduate studies. So if you do have an offer for September 2025, come the summer, you may decide that you want to defer and you can do that. So that is one option. If you're currently just on a gap year, you are applying, you just still apply through UAC, or you could use our direct application at that point. If you're not currently in high school, you would have to have your high school transcript sent to us, and we're going to assess you using that high school transcript. You can qualify for an entrance scholarship as well. If you're currently in grade 12 and you're just not sure what to do, one additional pathway I want to mention is our exploration year. So here at Trent, if you don't know what you want to study, or maybe you're interested in just so many programs and you can't make that choice, you can just apply into this exploration year. So if you go to the Ontario University Application Center and you select Trent, at the top of each campus for the program listing, you're going to see exploration year, and you can choose just to apply into honors arts or honors science. And those options are going to give you the potential of up to 100 degree options. So you don't have to declare a major until the end of your first year. So you're just going to come into arts or science. You're going to be able to take a variety of courses from up to 10 different programs. You will have an academic advisor who is able to, again, advise you, like, what are your interests? Like, what direction are you're thinking you might want to go? They can help you to choose those courses for your first year. And then they can sit down with you by the end of your first year to decide what you do want to declare as your major. So maybe you're you're deciding on a joint major. Maybe you're deciding that you want to go and get more work experience, and that a co-op option is a direction you want to go. This is a great option for students that just want to explore. And all of those credits that you're taking in first year can be used towards your degree. So you're not wasting any time. This also is a pathway that qualifies you for an entrance scholarship. So you can be getting up to free tuition in this exploration year. So this is something that we are going to be offering a live stream on January 13th, actually. So about a week and a half from now, we're doing a live stream on the exploration year. So if you visit trentu.ca/discover, you can register for that live stream as well to get more information, but you can also continue to ask questions here.
Yeah, it's such a great way to start as well. I find a lot of students that they'll come take a tour or come talk to me and say, I'm not 100% sure what I want to do. And that's totally fine. You know, if you know you want to take first year and be able to take a whole bunch of different types of disciplines and really understand what type of program you like or what type of discipline of either sciences or arts, it's definitely a fulfilling way to kind of start, have a little bit more freedom, and then eventually decide what you want to do. So I think that's a great option. I think that live stream will be a great way for students to get a little bit more information about that too.
Absolutely. And I'll just add too that if you know right now, like I want to take chemistry, and then a year from now you've taken a couple of electives in geography or global development studies, and you find that your end goal is changing, there is still time to change your major. And again, I feel like we keep coming back to this, but that's where your academic advisor comes in. They'll be able to look at the credits you've done, and they'll be able to talk to you about going in another direction if you choose. So you're not locked into that one program. We know that this is a time of discovery, and you're starting to take courses that may be in an area you've never had access to before. And so your goals can change, your interests can change, and that's where your academic advisor can help you, again, to build that degree.
Maybe we could talk a little bit about more timelines, things like that of, say a student gets their offer right now. Is this something that they have to decide today, tomorrow, a month from now? What's kind of the timeline, the cutoff? Is there a specific date that they have to have in their mind for later in the year as well?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, June 2nd is the accept deadline for Ontario. So you can accept now, but you can definitely take time to make that decision. And I would say come and explore, come to campus. If you can't come to open house in March, book a tour, connect with our enrollment advisors. Again, they're all recent graduates of Trent. They can answer all the questions that you have on the Trent experience. So I think it's important just to take that time to explore. If you're ready, you can accept now. We'll give you all of your next steps. If you need that time, you can take that time, and we'll be continuing to communicate with you between now and the accept deadline to hopefully give you all of the information that you need to know that Trent is the choice for you.
Sure. Yeah, I always say to students, it's one thing to see things on a picture. It's a completely different thing to experience it in person. I think you get a really great sense of if it's somewhere you like to be, and that translates into how much you want to get involved, and how much you want to go to class, and how much you really like the area that you're around. I think you get so much more involved when you like the place you're around. So I always say come and take a campus tour as well. Again, 6 days a week, so it's a great way to even meet some students there as well, right? Get an idea of how students feel, if they like their time there as well.
Yeah, and the guides that are giving you the tour, they are current students here at Trent. So yeah, as Robert mentions, it's a great resource to have some of your questions answered by someone who's going through that experience right now.
They're all very friendly too. So.
Yeah.
Willing to go the extra mile. I think that's most of the questions that I see on our end. Let's see if I can find one or two more.
All right. Well, Robert, I know you're looking to see if there's any last minute questions, but I just wanted to take the time to thank you for coming. And those of you who are high school students, I'm hoping that you're enjoying these last few days before you head back and back into the classroom. I wish you all the best in this last month of your first semester of grade 12, if that's where you're at. And again, just keep in touch. We have lots of events. We're going to be communicating with you. Come to our Zoom drop-ins, book a one-on-one appointment with one of our enrollment advisors, and just connect. We're here to support you through this application process. So thanks to Connor and Robert, who were actively in the chat answering questions, and to everyone who attended, thank you so much for spending this part of the morning with us. And we look forward to continuing this conversation with you and hopefully seeing you here at Trent very soon. Thank you.